YouTube and Facebook. There's not going to be any music, so I think we're good. Today is Monday. It is 3 in the afternoon. My whole day is completely gone to shit, but hey ho. I'm actually going to fake the look of me having my headphones. Actually, that looks really weird. I'm just going to have to endure this, really, aren't I? There's a slight delay between my voice and hearing it in my headphones. It's about a quarter of a second out, but my ears are just going a bit nuts. So, I don't actually need my headphones. Fuck it. Let's just look cool with very squeaky headphones that are now feeding back into this fucking thing. Okay. If I do that, I'm just hoping to God that like audio is still being recorded and you guys can still hear me. If you can't hear me, then tell me. I'm just gonna assume you can because reasons. So yes, this is actually a podcast episode, which is strange. I do podcasts of my own, not just guesting on them. Apparently I actually record my own and then forget about them for like 2.5 weeks. And then remember, oh shit, I should be posting. I have a posting schedule that keeps on screaming at me going, have you done the thing? And I'm just like, yeah, manana. I spoke about manana in episode 30. And we're in episode 32 now. So, fun. Yeah, I'm assuming that you can hear me. If you can't hear me, then the show's going to be live in a couple of hours once I've finished the rest of my day. I'm actually just going to get rid of these. Screw it. We're going rogue because they're squeaky and I can't deal with editing squeaks because squeaks make me cry. And yeah, I didn't think I'd have a topic today, and a topic just came and fell in my lap, as you do. And I got really, really passionate about it. So I was just like, no, stop doing the thing. And now I'm going to talk about like why I'm so passionate about the thing, and it is victimhood, because there's a lot of it out there, rightfully and wrongfully so. And I've had it in the past. I've watched my mother have it and basically just burn in a vat of this thing and martyrdom and righteousness and me I must get my revenge and these kind of things. And weirdly enough, a friend has just literally gone through it, and I've just sat there just going, no, don't do the thing, please don't, I love you, just no, stop, it's bad. So that's what today's episode's going to be about. I've had an energy drink. That's why I sound hyper as hell. I've had a coffee and an energy drink today, just because I needed to get a lot of stuff done today, and that's my usual kind of thing that I do. Oh, someone's a bit angry. Oh no, my podcast recording on here said no. Well, we're gonna carry on because that's what we do. So yeah, with this is the concept of victimhood, which is a terrible thing to exist when it's not necessary, which is a very, very, very big statement to have, because when is victimhood necessary and why should it not be necessary is the argument that starts in my head. And when I refer to victimhood, I really refer to people in a position where they feel hard done by, and for whatever reasons, you know, they must have retribution, and they must have, you know, they must find a way to feel better from the person who has wronged them. And sometimes that works, you know. Sometimes if someone has wronged you, you can go and right that situation, but there are systems in place to help you do that in a way that helps everybody, right? But a lot of the time, a lot of people are so stuck in their little like chasm cave of hurt and scornfulness and just rage that they don't realize that there are these other options out there where, you know, you get what you need for closure, they get what they need to understand that they've done the wrong or whatever, and maybe they need to get put away. You know, it depends. It's a huge thing. It goes beyond the individual and becomes societal and becomes governmental, I suppose, depending on what's going on, of course. So with victimhood, I kind of had my own little need of retribution and righteousness, and yes, this person has done bad by my standards, my existential moral standards, and they must I don't not be acquitted. They must feel the pain that I have felt, right? And I'm just going to check and see if this is actually working okay, because my microphone was sounding kind of weird. I'm going to edit this part out. She says, I don't think I edited the other part out before. Where is my stream? Here we go. On what's going on, of course. So sexy. Okay, cool. We're good. That's a strong sound. I like it. So I'm gonna carry on. So yeah, with my situation, I had this thing when I was at university. I've said this to a couple of people. Can't believe I'm saying it on here. But when I was at university, I dated a guy, and it was all going well. It was all going fine, and it was fun. And during summer, my parents decided no longer to fund my university life. They were just like, you're on your own, do your own thing. And I was just like, what do I do? Oh my God. So I went back to a job that I had, which was, I was a sports masseuse. I was an apprentice sports masseuse. I was actually learning how to become a massage therapist, a sports massage therapist. I was at Brunel University, like it's all sports. And I told my boyfriend at the time, and I thought he'd be really supportive and be like, oh my God, that's amazing. You're doing your thing. But he actually turned around and he was like, you fucking whore, you slut, you this, that, the other. I can't believe you're going to go out and you're going to be touching other men. I fucking hate this. I've always thought you were a bit of a slag, da-da-da-da-da-da. And I was just like, whoa. Like I was 19 at the time, and I just couldn't comprehend any of this. I mean, I've always been a bit of a liberal person, but like sports massage is nothing to write home about. I'm just literally just working with athletes and helping them. I've got big strong hands. But he just went on a rampage, calling me a slut and a whore and all this stuff, and I'm crying down the phone because I've never had this kind of verbal assault done to me. And I was broken, and we broke up, obviously, over summer. And me being me at the time, I'm like, I do not take kindly to being called a whore or a slut or any of these kind of things. So I literally spent probably about 3 or 4 months begging him back. So we had we went back into a relationship, and we were in it for a few months. And then I basically broke up with him and just said, hey, I faked every single orgasm I've ever had with you. You don't even know how to make a girl come properly. And he was devastated because he had a lot of insecurities around sex. And I basically found them, pried them the fuck open, and just danced on them happily. And, that is kind of the crux of this whole episode that I'm talking about is, I spent a good, probably, the pain and hurt during summer, trying to getting him back, spending some time to kind of building him up, really building him up as a human being, and then just ultimately trying to destroy him so he felt the hurt that I had. That took me, I think, 8 or 9 months, all in. 9 months. 9 months from being hurt to hurting someone else in exactly the same way, exactly the same feeling, something that's so close to your chest, just that. And, I went through a lot of therapy and a lot of reflection, self-reflection. I calmed down a lot in my 20s. I kind of went through my rampage, burning everything, setting everything on fire, and then kind of chilled out after that. And I look back on that. My therapist did ask me, he's just like, so you spent 9 months just to get back at someone because they hurt you. And how did you feel afterwards? And I was like, honestly, I didn't feel anything. I'd actually forgotten why I even did the whole thing in the first place. And that got me thinking, like, why do we have these moments where we're just like, someone does wrong by us, they break our moral codes, they break our understanding of the world, and then we get so angry. We get so angry. We're just like, you have violated my trust. You have violated my Fort Knox, and all this kind of self-righteous. I want to say mumbo jumbo, but it's not. We do have our Fort Knoxes that we should very much protect severely. But when it leaks out to the point that we're now going to go and hurt that person's Fort Knox and that person's kind of moral compass, that becomes questionable. And it becomes doubly more questionable when you're reaching out and trying to find other people. You're rallying people now and telling like someone like, that guy, I'm going to call my ex Bob, right? So let's say I didn't, just do this myself and spend 9 months to try and destroy someone, and I start bringing people in. Bob was a dick. Bob did this. Bob did that. Bob never should have done the other. Bob, just creating this whole freaking like one-sided scenario of what one person did bad to me, right? You create this. Your friends and these people around you are only going to believe and support your view, right? Because they don't know Bob. They don't know Bob from Adam or James or Peter or whoever. And of course they're going to support you. Of course they're going to support your side of things. True friends, however, will question, is it true? Of course it's true. He did this. Yes, of course. But is it true? Like, what was Bob doing at the time? Well, he was at home and he didn't see me. Okay, cool. And what did you tell him? I told him I was going to go and massage people. What does that look like to him? What are his tendencies? Well, Bob is a little bit jealous and he doesn't like it when I get attention. Okay, so now you're telling him that you're going to go and touch up athletes who are hotter than him. Yes. Maybe his jealousy kind of went up a little bit. Yes, okay, cool. So Bob wasn't a bad person. Bob just had his issues that kind of exploded in your face. And you could have understood that and kind of been like, okay, so I did a thing and I didn't really respect the fact that he has these issues that I'm about to like literally just poke. I'm about to poke the bear. Yes. So I tell Bob I'm going to go be a masseuse. Bob with jealousy issues, who doesn't even like it when I get attention as a DJ, goes absolutely mental. I then absorb all of that as just one specific attack, just attacking me as a human being, and then, just all hell breaks loose. No, so you change it, right? So when you start seeing both sides of the coin, that's when you're like, okay, maybe we need to just expand upon this and see what's going on. Now, the problem with that, is, cancel culture. I have issues with cancel culture. The problem with that is obviously, when everyone is so fired up on this one side, this one-sided view of a situation, even trying to kind of pull everyone over to the other side and explain like, hey, maybe these are the other things that are going on. There's this petulance that happens in this space where it's like, no, I'm the only one who's right. No one else is allowed another opinion. I was hard done by and I will get my revenge. And it's just like, you're not 5. You're 25, maybe you're 26, you're a full-grown adult, and you should have the capacity to use some critical thinking, my favorite subject, to, feel this out. This victimhood cannot just be from one specific thing. There are certain situations where it is. Don't get me wrong. Like, if you got raped, then yes, like, there is no argument around that whatsoever. It is proven. That is the thing. It is bad across the board. It's bad as an individual. It's bad as a group. It's bad for society. It's bad on a governmental level. It's bad on Mars. But Mars is currently only populated by robots. So I'm not going to entertain that. My brain's just gone on a weird one. It's like, do robots rape? Like, don't entertain that. It's bad. Shake, it's bad. Don't drink energy drinks, kids. They're bad for you. So we need to expand on this, right? And just kind of look in situations, because they're awry. Cancel culture has created this kind of I don't want to call it fear, but a slight state of paralysis when it comes to having conversations around bad situations, right? Where individuals are involved. There's so much going on with celebrities and all of that jazz. I think Chris D'Elia, who's a comedian, got cancelled last year because, there's this whole debacle around him kind of exploded where people were sharing screenshots of Snapchats of him, just trying to hook up with girls after shows. Which, at the time I was looking at that kind of going, yeah, that's kind of bad. And, the age of the girls was a huge issue. But there's something more here. And Chris D'Elia just disappeared, just peace out. And I was listening to his podcast in the beginning of lockdown. It was something just to kind of break the break from the lockdown. He disappeared. And maybe about 4 or 5 days ago, he did a massive apology video on his podcast YouTube channel, much like mine. Not the apology bit, just the channel. And the way he broke it down, I feel, unfortunately, is going to get twisted. It's going to be pulled apart. It's going to be, misconstrued a lot. Because he has a problem. He has a sex problem, a sex affliction, a sex disorder, all these kind of things. And he pulled them out and he didn't excuse himself from it, which I think is great. One thing that he did mention, which I think is important, even with small situations of like me and my ex Bob or my friend today and their kind of dating woes and stuff, is this issue of a power dynamic, right? Power dynamics exist everywhere. And it goes beyond just the classical man-woman situation. It goes into so many other areas where, your workplace, there's going to be a dynamic. If, a director of a company comes walking in and you're just an intern, there's a huge power play there, right? You have a male manager and a female, doe-eyed, 18-year-old intern who doesn't know, apples from zebras. And that man, kind of preys on the woman. Like, there's going to be an issue there, and she's going to probably say and do things that she didn't realize she could say no to until much later. And then she comes out and says, these things happened and this was not okay. And that's completely valid. But also, the man needs to kind of understand that this power dynamic is a thing. And, like, even on a guy, right? It works on a guy or a woman. This power dynamic is important. So Chris D'Elia expands on that. Because he didn't realize, no one tells you, like if you're a comedian, he didn't realize that there was this power dynamic he has because of his notoriety, because he's become this man of influence, a popular comedian, a popular funny guy. You have all these women and fans or whatever just in the area. If God gives attention to you, if light is shone on you, then you're going to be like, oh my God, like I have attention. Senpai has noticed me, which is a big problem. And it's not being talked about enough. So, I'm mentioning him because I quite like his podcast more than anything else. His comedy is a bit hit or miss. He also did an amazing Eminem rap, which is really, really funny. And I think Eminem featured him in one of his music videos or something. But I digress. The way Chris D'Elia has come back to try and manage the situation is commendable, but for a fact people are just gonna just poop all over it. They're just gonna twist it and like pull it back into the space of victimhood, where they're like, no, his words are lies. You must listen to the people who have been subjected to the bullshit. And it's a yes and no situation, and it just really upsets me when it's just focused on the victim. The victim is doing their thing and the victim is always right. And they're not. I'm probably going to get fired for that, but they're not always right. They are mostly right, and a bigger conversation needs to be expanded upon what the fuck is going on in that situation for there to be any form of vindication. So, 2 parts of a 3-part stage act. The other side of victimhood, people talking and expressing how they feel. The assailants, I don't know, people who have done the bad thing should be heard and shouldn't be shouted over by the people who have had the bad thing done to them. They should be given the opportunity to apologize if they want to. They should be given the opportunity to explain where they were, how they were feeling, whatever vulnerabilities they had at the time without being torched, right? Because if you can't have that side of the conversation, then this is just a one-sided, I don't know, snowball into a fire of hell, right? And I think it's really important that if a bad situation happens, you need to sit down and just hash it out, really go through a line of critical thinking and just kind of be like, this happened, I felt this because you did that. This happened, I did this, I did not realize you felt that, and I'm going to take some responsibility in this situation and address my shortcomings in this whole space. It's easier said than done. Hugely easier said than done. The years I've spent working as a bouncer, we don't say bouncer anymore, as a door person, but I like bouncer. We're fluffy and we also get to kick you out. Boing. My time working as a door person, I've spent many minutes, many evenings in the ladies' bathrooms and other parts of nightclubs, not just the ladies' bathrooms. But when women have this situation, and they blame their partners, like, their partner did this, their partner did that, and you do automatically side on the side of the woman. But we have to do this detective work back and forth to see what the hell's actually going on. And you bring it all the way back to the beginning of the evening, and she wasn't happy. So she started acting up, and she was actually pushing her boyfriend's buttons to try and get a reaction out of him, to the point where she started, I don't know, slow dancing with his best friend, right, while staring at him, and he lost it. And I'm just like, both of you are wrong. Both of you are wrong for this. And people get upset. No. He hit me and he grabbed me. I'm like, yes, he's wrong for the hitting and grabbing, but you're wrong for not just telling him that you're upset. Why would you have to go and dance on another guy because that pisses the dude off, right? Again, I'm going to probably get fired for that. Not fired, just taken through the dirt for that. I don't really care, because it's true. It's a situation I've had to deal with many times over, and it's involved, other door people. We're back and forth. We've got like our radio earpieces in, trying to talk to different people. Like, all of us are moving around because there's this whole kind of verbal judo thing that we do with people. If they get too upset with one person, you bring someone else in, raise and lower their energies, get them exhausted so they can actually talk like normal human beings. But this victimhood thing kind of is pretty harrowing to work with on the ground when you've just got these people who are saying stuff. Always more sides to a story. But the problem is, because of the way the internet is right now, and the way the world is with this whole need of instant gratification and instant satisfaction, is someone cries wolf, and it is more skewed down to the female side of things for the time being. Because if guys cry wolf, like, a lot of people are just like, man up, or harden the fuck up, or whatever they do, which is really unfair, because both sides of the story, both sides, there are certain things that should be investigated, that should be expanded upon. But with the world of instant gratification, no one does that anymore. No one does it. Everyone's like, this is a story. And everyone's like, oh my God, that's a story. And then other people go, let's divide the story. And people go, let's granularize the story. And it's just like, this man is bad, cancel him. And then you have a whole bunch of children going, cancel him. The end. That's sad. That's really, really sad. And it upsets me, and it annoys me. So yeah, that's a very succinct, short, to the point episode. I think it felt more like a rant, actually. I'm kind of out of steam now, and I just want to talk about butterflies and ponies. But victimhood really pisses me off. Oh yeah, that's another thing I failed to mention, is just watching my mother do it and go through it. That was, I suppose that's why I'm so passionate about it, is just having to experience seeing my mother create the bullshit situation, let the bullshit situation explode, and then sit there kind of going like she didn't start any of it, and she needs all this attention and all this kind of stuff. As a kid, like, you get the feeling like something's wrong, but you can't really say anything, so you just like store it in your system, and you're just like, I'm pretty sure this isn't right, but I don't have the verbal knowledge to have a grown-up conversation with an adult who will just tell me to not get my nose into things that don't involve me, even though it's happening right in front of me. Yeah, I watched that happen a lot, and as an adult, I called her out on it a lot, and that was cause for a lot of really, really difficult conversations, and a lot of fallout. Like, I think one time I called her up on it for doing something to my stepdad, and we didn't talk for 6 months. So, that's a thing. But hey, yeah, that's my thoughts and ideas on victimhood. It's a very, very deep, multifaceted subject, which I undoubtedly will probably come back to again at some point. An action point for you, I suppose, would be if you ever feel a friend of yours is doing something that you don't think is right, just pull them up on it. Like, don't tell them, I don't think you're doing something that's great. Just ask them why. Why do they feel the need for this to happen right now? Why do they feel the need that they need to burn someone else who just maybe said something wrong and probably did something wrong? But why do you feel if they slapped you across the face, you need to shank them in the kidney? It's not it's not cool. Like, people need their kidneys, and the slap across the face is pretty bad. Tell people, don't slap people across the face, fine, but don't shank people in the kidneys. That's a dick move, and no one likes it when you do dick moves. I'm not going to expand on that. So yeah, just if people are doing things that you're not really comfortable with, then just start asking questions like, what is the end result you're looking for? Why do you feel so focused, and why is there such a huge need in doing X, Y, Z? Like, is the experience true? Have you tried talking to that person? If that person is beyond conversation, do you need to bring legal entities in? And if you do bring legal entities in, can they create a space for you to have a conversation with this person? Some of these things are a yes. A lot of these things are going to be a no. But equally, there's the opportunity just to be like, that was a bad situation, and I'm just going to let it go. I'm not going to try and make that person see sense. I'm not going to try and do the whole like Clockwork Orange at Brunel University. They filmed that at my university. The Clockwork Orange thing, just kind of like, getting people exposed that way. Because it just means you are just using so much energy when that person is probably oblivious to all of the things that you're trying to do. And even if you do the thing, they probably aren't taking it to heart anyway. So you're holding on to hot coals, hoping the other person gets burned, or drinking poison, expecting the other person to die, which is not cool. And yeah, I'm going to leave it there because it's a nice and sexy, suave 30 minutes. And I like the shorter episodes. I think they're more giving. If you are watching this on Facebook, leave me a message and say hi. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave me a message and say hi. If you're listening to this on podcast, which will be out in about 2 hours or so, leave me a message on your chosen platform. If you're on iTunes, I think that's a thing. And say hi. Just say hi. A conversation is glorious. Yeah, and on that note, I hope you guys are looking after yourselves and looking after each other because the world has gone crazy. And I'll see you next time, which will hopefully be a Monday. Alrighty. Bye-bye.